in Indiana, we're not big on the Mustang grape.
No Mustang grapes. I'm not sure, but Scott can't stand anywhere without someone trying to figure out something. Right?
You got thoughts on what Steve was saying, Senator?
Well, my thought is that the Fed is not in the business of promoting small business. Small business people make a decision on whether or not it's an investment and whether or not they're willing to take a risk, and that depends on the return. And as a very practical matter, you don't get an atmosphere for that if you have a government that's overburdening small business with taxes, overburdening with regulation, and that you're in a credit contraction now, not because the Fed hasn't pumped a huge amount of money into the money supply. It's because the banks are having to reposition their capital. And when banks reposition their capital coming out of a recession, they don't take the money from their bad loans because the bad loans aren't performing. They contract their good loans. And so as a very practical matter, this is an end of a recession event that credit is tightening up. And I don't think you're going to see it improved by a financial regulation bill, which will also tighten credit, especially in the derivatives market and in the bank capital market. But the Fed's role here, I don't believe, is to put more money into the system. They've already got $2 trillion in the system. Their role is to simply make sure that we don't have an inflationary event from all the money that we have in the system, which is unlikely because things are pretty deflationary right now. But I just don't see this role being that the Fed can solve the small business problem. Small business is going to react when it thinks it can invest and have confidence that the economy is coming back and that an investment is going to give them a return. Yeah. And when you've got a government that's basically expanding so radically as this government is, both on regulations and tax policy, the incentive isn't there to expand.
Well, we've got a short-term and a long-term challenge. In the long run, you got to focus on what creates wealth, what improves productivity, what makes us globally competitive, those sorts of things.
Good government?
Well, no.
Oh, okay.
And Judd makes some good points there. In the short run, it's a little bit different. There really is a dilemma. And the real question is, has the economy achieved what the economists call escape velocity? Has the recovery become self-sustaining? If so, then the Fed should start withdrawing some of these extraordinary measures that they've taken. Because in the long run, it is not sustainable, and you're going to see problems with interest rates in the credit markets, and the currency won't be a problem. But if, on the other hand, we run the risk of stalling out and going back into a double dip, well, then that will only exacerbate all these problems we're attempting to escape from. So that really is the question. How much momentum is there behind this economy right now? We're getting mixed signals on that.
Well, the single biggest incentivizer of small business is capital gains rates and dividends rates and the top marginal rates, because most small businesses are basically subchapter S. So when you're taking top marginal rates up and when you're taking capital gains rates up, you're saying to small business, don't be productive. Don't go out there and make that extra investment. Don't take that chance because you're going to get a tax away anyway. So why make the extra?
Well, they shouldn't go up right now. And you did hear the administration, or Tim Geithner speaking for the administration, say, look, we're not going to go back to the pre-Bush levels on those.
Okay. And the check is in the mail.
All right. Senators, thank you. Next,
sometimes it is.
The front lines of FinReg, the CEO of Regional Banking.